Hey YouTube, welcome back to another Keeping Up with Cal. Before we get started, hit that like button and subscribe to your boy if you ain't done so already. Man, so today I want to speak on a message from Cardi B. Cardi B sent out a message about America trying to wipe black history out of the school systems. This is crazy. First of all, thank you to Cardi B for bringing awareness to the situation. And really, I only seen Cardi B and Hassan Campbell speaking on this situation. Shout out Hassan Campbell. But it's crazy. More black people need to be talking about this. More black people with influence. You know, black people are the most disrespected people on earth. We're the most hated people on earth with no reason. You feel me? But people say they hate black people because we're criminals. People say they hate black people because we're disrespectful. We disrespect ourselves. They have all a variety of things that they say to point out why they disrespect black people. Everything that they point out, the reason for disrespecting us, they can also say about themselves. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's Hispanics, whether it's Asians, whether it's Pacific Islanders, whether it's white people. You know what I'm saying? Whatever race has a group of people that bring shame upon their ethnicity, but they don't take it out on the whole of the race, except for if they're black. But Cardi B, you know, this is a long, like, you can go on and on about the disrespect of black people. Black people have created some of the most meaningful things that we have here on earth, and we get no credit for it. But one thing that Cardi B said that stood out to me is everybody wants their history to be remembered. Everybody, how shall I put this? Everybody loves what their ancestors stood for to get their people where they at now. Why shouldn't black people be just as proud? You know what I'm saying? But it's just crazy, man. But Cardi B said something about other races not wanting black people to be proud of who they are and where they come from and the things that they had to go through here. A lot of people these days don't understand how bad slavery was. There's almost nobody left from the days of slavery. Almost. There's still people alive today that was alive when slavery was going on. So that goes to tell you that slavery wasn't that long ago. There was horrible things going on in the times of slavery that people couldn't imagine. Where do you think you get things like open heart surgery? People were taking black slaves and having open heart surgery on them with no way to heal, no anesthetic, nothing to relieve the pain that they was going through. They was doing all of this without anything. A lot of this stuff wasn't even made yet. Wasn't no drugs to numb pain. Wasn't none of that type of stuff. These were the first people that this was being done on. And they had places where they was just having different rooms of people being operated on, learning how to sew arms back together so they can work properly again. Imagine what it sounded like in those rooms. Imagine the pain, the horror. Imagine the children. Imagine someone taking your whole family and separating you from your family. You're in Texas and they taking your wife and your children to Mississippi to be auctioned off and separated from each other there. And you're fighting, escaping, running away from slave plantation to try to get back to your kids and your family. When will you give up hope that you would never see them again? Would you ever give up hope of ever seeing your family again? And how long would it take your ancestors down the line of lineage to you now to forget those things? I seen Hassan Campbell say Jews still haven't got over Holocaust. They still celebrate the things that went on with their ancestors during Holocaust. And guess what? When black people started saying Black Lives Matter, everybody else started to listen like, hold on, Jewish lives matter. The LGBTQ community lives matter. Even the white people started to come out and say, white lives matter. We're being treated unfairly. When you go to school, they teach you everything. They're supposed to teach you about the Mexican culture. They teach you for sure about the European culture. They teach you about Asian history with Genghis Khan and all of these people. And we could go on and on with different ethnicities and races that get taught, their culture gets taught in school. Why would you take out black history? One of the most important cultures in history. They took Christianity up out of the school system. You remember when you used to get up in the morning when you go to school and everybody stand up and put your right hand over your heart, ready, begin. Y'all say the Pledge of Allegiance. They don't do that no more. But America is fighting to get that back up in the school system. They fighting hard to get that back put into the school system. when you have many races and religions and cultures that's in this classroom, and if they feel disrespected by their children going to school and saying the national anthem in the morning, they shouldn't have to say it. You know, but this is like, black people have to start standing up for black people. If black people want anybody to care about their feelings or how they feel about, show some integrity. Show some integrity about you guys' self, me included. Black people, if you want anyone to feel any type of sympathy or remorse on anything you do, let's start pushing the culture ourselves. Cardi B had to speak on this.
When it comes to slavery, if you ask a white teenager from Alabama, right? If you ask somebody that is not a millennial, that didn't probably went to school during our era where they teach you history, they don't even try to teach you the whole history. Well, in New York they did. If you ask a 12-year-old boy from Alabama, right, about slavery, they'll probably be like, oh, slavery was just free labor. It was just free labor. Why does it matter? Nowadays, black people have equal opportunities, so why does it matter? Why does it feel like, why do we gotta pay them reparation? Why do we have to cater to this? Why do we have to do this and that? Because slavery, they want to diminish slavery as in it was just free labor. But slavery wasn't just free labor. Slavery was human torture. Women was getting tortured. Babies were getting killed, ripped apart by parents. People were getting, women and men. During slavery, they used humans practically as cows and sheep. They trade you like cows and sheep, like if you're stock. And you always have to remember, whenever the try to diminish your ancestors' pain, your ancestors' agony, your ancestors' tears into free labor, this is the reason why history cannot be erased, because they try to diminish your ancestors' pain into free labor. And slavery was more than free labor. It was torture. It was human torture, and it was one of the worst tortures that could ever happen in humankind history. And it's something that it should be taught in the school, because you watch, in 20 years from now, you're gonna have ignorant Americans diminishing slavery as just free labor. They're gonna be like, it's just free labor. Oh my gosh, but we made up for it because now everybody got an equal right. No, it's more than that. You was using black people as human stocks. You was treating them as stocks. You was them. You was doing experimenting with them. You was beating them. You was torturing them, having your way, ripping them apart from your family. The worst thing you could ever do, the worst thing you could do, that you could ever think to do to a human being. There is no race, there is no nationality, there is no ethnicity that let you forget about what they went through in their countries. Not even Europeans let you forget they went, the hard went in their countries. So why should this be banned from school?
Cardi B, I believe, is Puerto Rican or of Hispanic descent, and she's speaking up for our culture. I applaud her. And we should speak up for the Hispanic culture as well, as they're speaking up for us, even if it's only one. Even if it's only one. Because where there's one spreading the word, many will listen. Man, let me know what y'all think about this situation, though. Do people think black history should be erased up out of the school systems? That question isn't only for black people, it's for everybody in the world. This is what y'all feel? It's a time to stand up, people, for right. This has been another Keeping Up with Cal, where Cal's always on the go. Can you keep up with Cal? I'm out.